a season battling points deductions, finish off on the right note, it's if they can carry that form to next season now. They don't belong to be around the relegation zone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Players Own YouTube channel and welcome to our Everton season recap for season 23-24. A very interesting season for Everton fans once again amongst a relegation battle, but ended up on a high note with the way they finished quite strongly down the season off. Tracksuit Dyche is the way forward, it seems. A man that's almost unbeatable at times and producing some improved performances as the season went on. But it's clear to see this isn't an Everton style which we're used to, of being around the mid-table to the upper half of the table. It's still a team with a lot more building to do, a few more players to find, and an identity to find as well. And to Sean Dyche, you expect that pragmatic, defensive-orientated style of football. But I think for Everton to take that step back up amongst the big boys, you're going to have to change that outlook. Sean Dyche is going to have to be more progressive. He's going to have to change his way and philosophy of football so that Everton can go and achieve some things here. And that's why I'm questioning. It's good to have Sean Dyche there for the next few years to stabilise his club, but going forward, with a new stadium coming through, going forward, is this the right way we want to go for Everton? It'd be interesting to know what Everton fans' point of view, but all in all, a solid enough season, especially with all the points deductions and I guess the Premier League's interference in their season. They did very well to ride those waves, a good start to the season, a great end to the season. We want some continuity next season, some stability and potentially closer to a more of a mid-table finish for my liking. With that all being said, they come off the season record with 13 wins, 9 draws, and the 16 losses. 40 points in the end with all the points deductions added and taken away and all the like, putting them in 15th place and quite comfortably in the end, staying up. Getting to their best signing in the end, I think it was probably Ashley Young coming in on a free, played 31 times this season in the Premier League for Everton, a part of 6 clean sheets. Again, defence was the orientation for this side this season. Big players also to count back. Tarkowski lifted, Jared Branthwaite lifted. Ashley Young was very impressive. And we'll talk about some of the more experienced heads, especially in deep line midfield positions as well, who covered up really well. Looked like Abdoulaye Doucouré in this side as well. So it was all the defensively orientated players that probably shone the best this season in terms of what they did. Thinking Nathan Patterson as well as a young player as well standing up. That's where a lot of the best work was done. And I think Ashley Young, having that experience, again, hasn't got the pace he used to have, but his know-how, his ability was very, very important for this side, especially considering the ups and downs, the interference in the Premier League. Someone like him was very important for them this season. Underused by Aston Villa maybe, probably not fitting their project, but comes into Everton and fills a role that Sean Dyche absolutely needed, and more of that defensively orientated player who can get up and down that bar line if you need to, but defends first and does that at a very high level. So a great season for Ashley Young and turns out to be one of the best free signings of the year. Coming to the worst signing, it's got to go down to Dan Juma. Came on loan once again to make a change, to be that impact, to be that guy up top that can change a game, an X factor, someone different to what they've got up there, but really struggled once again. 1 goal in his 14 appearances, never really got a roll on, struggled to get starting football. Chamiti, Beto, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Abdoulaye Doucouré all look like better forward options. Even on the flanks as well, McNeil was just out of his skin this season. Jack Harrison played very well as well, 2 other key ins for the side. But Dan Jimmy couldn't go nowhere near this side. His form wasn't good enough. I just don't think he's cut out for the Premier League in terms of the pace and power required. Yes, he's got some raw ability there, but it just hasn't quite worked out in the Premier League, whether it's been Tottenham or Everton. Just hasn't quite been that player so far. So I feel like another failed trip to the Premier League for Arnaud Danjuma, and Dad will be coming back to Everton or any other Premier League sides due to his poor performances this season. Coming to the moment of the season now, I think it's pretty easy for Evertonians. The turn to win over Liverpool to basically end Liverpool's title hopes. One of the best performances we've seen Everton put in all season. Solid at the back, but had that real spark in the final third and willingness to go and try and win the game. Something we haven't quite seen for Everton a lot this season. And again, they're normally quite a hard watch, but in this game here, they really took it to Liverpool. And yes, Liverpool looked a bit tired and a bit off at the back, but Everton exposed that. They played really, really well, and your big name players all showed up. So definitely by far the easiest moment of the season. They've had some good goals in there as well. Some long shots from Ghana, Gay, Doucouré and the like, but I feel like as a performance, this will go down as probably the best moment of the season for me, because of you beat your rivals, you stopped their title charge, and you probably put together your best performance of the year. So a fantastic win on that night there to beat Liverpool. Coming to the breakout player, could have easily been player of the season as well. It's Jared Branthwaite. fantastic. There's a reason why now he's linked around all the big clubs in England and almost back into Europe as well. Comes back from his loan spell and done fantastic. The 12 clean sheets and the 35 appearances, averages the 5.2 ball recoveries, the 2 tackles, and the 4.5 clearances per game. Clearances and blocks up there in the top 10% amongst centre halves. Again, solid enough for the ball at his feet. Obviously, that's a requirement nowadays in this modern football, but he's very solid. He just defends first and does it at a very high level. Someone that just screams Sean Dyche style of football, no nonsense, doesn't make many mistakes, a lot of key blocks, a lot of clear clearances, as I've said there from the stats this season, and was important in keeping all those clean sheets and being so defensively solid. You could have given awards to the whole back line with how consistent they were and how much they held up against repetitive pressure throughout the year. And whenever they'd go on and win a big game, you normally look to Tarkowski and you look to Branthwaite and say, these were the two guys why they won the game, because they kept the opposition away from goal. And when Everton didn't concede as many chances and they defended really well, you saw a more progressive mindset. You saw them trying to attack the game a little bit more. But I feel like when they're under the pump a lot and these defenders had to hold on, Everton would go in their shell a bit more. So it was up to a lot from these defenders, and especially the centre-halves in Tarkowski and Branthwaite, to set the tone for the side. I think a lot of the time this season, when they were more comfortable in the ball, when they were being solid into tackles and winning the ball back, with in higher areas of the pitch and not allowing teams to get into their penalty area, it almost exuded confidence amongst the side and saw them produce some better performances. And I think for such a young player, Jarrad Branthwaite, there's a reason why a lot of clubs are in for him. He's got that know-how on the ball, that know-how into tackles. He reads situations quite well. And again, as I said, there's no nonsense. He doesn't make many mistakes, but gets the job done defensively. And I think a lot of teams, especially the top teams, would take a Jarrad Branthwaite right now. And he's absolutely deserving of that pre-Euro England squad, 100%. And easy could have been player of the season, but the player of the season ended up, for me, going to Jordan Pickford, a superstar for them. Look, giving them their English England sort of Pickford form, 13 clean sheets, 2.47 goals prevented on the season, 3.2 saves per game, repetitively putting his body on the line. Again, for a small guy, he covers that goal so well. And in big games, I think the last game of the season against Arsenal, multiple massive saves, and it's a symbol of his year, reaction saves, getting down low, not letting anything go past him, and limiting those awkward, idiotic type mistakes we've seen the last few seasons from a Jordan Pickford. He looked like he was in control. Yes, he has those anger problems, but it was sort of used for a positive impact this season. And I think he just realised that this team needed a leader, and he had to be that sort of guy. And it wasn't just shouting at players, it was leading through reactions and making some massive saves. And considering how many shots they put on them in a game, the 2.47 goals prevented this season shows the impact he's made. I think, for me, I had him in the team season as the goalkeeper of the year because he was the most consistent. He made the biggest saves. And I know Everton are defensively orientated, but that allows teams to come onto them and make those long shots and create the chances. But he kept a lot of chances out. And 13 clean sheets in the Everton side that finished 15th says a lot about what he did this season. A fantastic year for him. And I feel like he'd get more props if Everton were a bit higher up the table, because they're sitting so low because of the points deduction. He just sort of gets forgotten about. But for me, easy the player of the season, and someone that you sort of build your squad around for the next 3 to 4 years, 100%. Coming down to the priorities for next season, number one's pretty obvious. You've got to find a reliable, a fit, and a capable number 9. Like, you're going to a new stadium now in 2 years' time. You've got to find a striker that can score you goals and can lead you into that journey there. So, Trimici looks like a decent player, same as Beto, Cavalier, not really fit enough, but none of them have that real difference-making ability that be able to find the back of the net. Nothing that can compete with the Solankis or the Watkins. Hasn't really got that X factor like Evan Ferguson's got as well. Doesn't finish like a Danny Welbeck or something like that, but you've got to try and find that sort of striker. A lot of teams are looking for them, but if Everton want to break away from that bottom bunch and become, once again, a mid-table side, you've got to find a striker who can score you more consistent goals. You've got Abdoulaye Doucouré scoring other goals for you, and you're relying on, a striker to pinch it here and there, or your wingers to produce goals and assists. So you got to find a reliable striker that can get on the end of all these crosses from the likes of McNeil and the likes of Harrison. So that's going to be, number one thing you have to do in the offseason. Find a very dangerous striker to put in this side. Second priority is to replace Jarrad Branthwaite. It's almost a 100% chance he's going to go. So you got to find someone that can fill that spot. Again, they haven't got much good quality depth there. He's a once in sort of 10 type of player, Jarrad Branthwaite. You're not going to get many of them going around, but someone who's quick enough to cover spaces, that can work well in a duo with Tarkowski, that can be a bit more, progressive in terms of their ball carrying ability. and someone that's going to be no nonsense in many regards that can fit the Dyche system. It's a lot of different requirements. Branthwaite just balanced that so well. But it's going to be hard to find someone like that, but you've got to try and find someone that can do a very similar job. Someone that's not going to ooze mistakes. I think that's the difference with Everton this season. They were separate themselves from that sort of bottom 3 or 4 because they didn't make many mistakes, and that's why they're a real solid side this year. And that comes from the back with Tarkowski and Branthwaite not making many mistakes all season long. So you've got to find someone to fill that sort of mould there, because it's almost 100% chance he's leaving in the summer. And then the final priority for next season is make Goodison a fortress. Obviously, the final year, as I said, at Goodison before you moved to that new Everton stadium on the docks there. Make it a memorable one. Put together some fantastic performances. Make it a fortress before you leave. It is one of those old grounds. It's a classic ground. It's always a hard place to go. You see all the big teams struggle out there because it's a tough place. It's an interesting environment. It's a tough environment to go and play. Make that place a fortress. Win more games than you lose at home your final season, and send off Goodison how it deserves to be sent off with a very solid season from the Everton there. So that's the third priority for next season. That rounds us all up here and comes down to our season grade. Now, it's a funny old season because if you add the points, which they should have had back, or they could have had back from the deduction, they sort of sit around that 12th and 13th spot. So they actually didn't have that much of a bad season in terms of points winning. A few up and down form moments, which I didn't really like. All in all, though, a really solid season for Everton, just consolidated once again. It's not what we want to see Everton, it's not what we expect to see Everton, but in this current environment, that's where they sort of sit. With the players they've got, and all the situation that hit Sean Dyche, I've gone with just a B season. I think very, very positive. Momentum to take into next year now on the back of a few good results and improved performances. I'm just questioning if this style of football, this pragmatic style, is going to work going forward, considering how aggressive and progressive a lot of teams now play in Europe, let alone in the Premier League. Basically, all the clubs that have come up from the Championship are going to play that high sort of 60% possession football that press you hard at the pitch, want to have the ball at their feet. There's only so much time until these sort of pragmatic systems fade out and are not successful. So interesting what Dyche can do, how he can mould this team and what signings he can get in, because I still reckon this team is just unders. It hasn't quite got the quality to make it into that mid-table bracket. So big summer ahead. Another chance for Sean Dyche to build the squad up and potentially send off Goodison Park in another solid sort of mid-table finish come next season. With that all being said, ladies and gents, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. How do you think I've gone here with my recap on Everton? Do you think they've had a solid enough season? Who should they sign next season? How do they replace Jared Branthwaite? Let me know that in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to smash a like on it, subscribe to the Players Own channel for more videos like these, and press that post notification bell so you know we upload more videos and podcasts in the future. With that all being said, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the upcoming football, and I'll see you guys in the video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.